Often people who work with me have something in common. They have that desire to experience more of the depth of life, to go deeper, to not just skim the surface, but to go deeper in exploring the big questions of life, of who am I? What is my purpose? Why am I here? What is the meaning of life? To discover more about God and their own spiritual connection to the divine, and to discover that within themselves. And along with this desire to explore life and to go deeper into life is to experience more joy, to experience more passion, to expand into more of my purpose. And this is what I was here to do, this exploration of possibility and potential that we all feel within us is like aching to be expressed. And another piece that people who come to work with me have in common is that desire to be the best version of themselves, to continue to grow into this expression of who they are that is coming from what feels like integrity with who they are and not operating on society's expectations or whatever programming we have where we feel like we need to live up to somebody else's expectations, but to be true to yourself and to be kind and compassionate and loving and to be a force of good in the world, to be able to respond to life, to be in the driver's seat rather than reacting and feeling like almost like a puppet on the strings, like having whatever's going on around us affect us internally, affect our internal world. And when that happens, it's like we feel stuck. We feel caught up in whatever situation we're in. And so to really have this sense of cutting those strings, of being able to stand in integrity with who you are and have that sense of peace within, that's really, I feel, such a key, is to be able to cultivate that within ourselves so that we can be free to be you, to live your life and to express that unique expression of you, your own thoughts and ideas, your joys, your passion, to be able to express it without feeling like you have to put yourself in a box. And that voice within us that says, don't be too loud, don't say that, somebody might judge you, or we put ourselves in a box. And to be able to let ourselves breathe and to laugh and to express and to follow your passions without having that inner dialogue that comes in where we can be so hard on ourselves and keep ourselves from trying things that is really going to lead us more into that discovery of self, of our purpose, of our passion. And really to make an impact in the world, to be of service. What is your unique gift that when you follow that passion, you're able to help people, to really support people in having more joy and peace in their lives? And this is really a key piece, is that aspect of finding your gifts and how you can be of service in the world. Because when we do that, that's where our joy comes from. That's how we can make that sense of purpose in our lives. And so these two things, that desire to have that experience the depth of life, to explore more of who I am and how I can be the best version of myself, and to through that make a positive impact in the world. These are all aspects that often lead people to do this work and to step onto the path of initiation within the Modern Mystery School. And that's my experience of my own journey. This is what it has helped me to do more of, to step into more. I recently was working with a client who came to work with me, and one of the things that he said was, I have a great life, I'm really happy with my life, but I feel like there's something more. And one of the things that he wanted was more light. He wanted more light in his life to help him to be the best version of himself, to be able to do more good in the world. And what does that mean when we talk about having more light? Because in the mystery school, we work with tools to bring more spiritual energy, to anchor in more of the light of who you are as spirit into your physical life. And this is a process that's been handed down for thousands of years, working with tools like rituals to, it's like opening up that opening for that light to come in and to anchor it in this physical density, to bring more light into this physical density. But what does that look like? And I often think of it as when you bring in more light, say when you turn on the light in a room, now you can see more clearly. And so often when we bring more light into our lives in this way, it can help to have more clarity, to have more awareness, to see things as they are more clearly. It helps us to be in greater integrity with who we are. When we have more light in our lives, it's like strengthening if you think of a tree, like strengthening the roots to be able to stand in the foundation of who you are as spirit, and that strong connection to who you are as spirit. And as you go out into the world and live your life, rather than having all the forces and all the different, whatever other people do, all the outside forces outside of you doesn't shake your foundation, because you are rooted in that foundation of who you are. And so strengthening that connection to who you are as spirit and holding that in your life and having tools to support you with that. And so once we have more awareness and we can see things more clearly, then we also want to have tools to be able to make that adjustment. If I find that I'm starting to get off balance, to be able to come back into alignment with who I am. And to see the different patterns, the perhaps subconscious programming, all the different patterns that we have been using, coping mechanisms that we've developed as we lived our life, starting to see them and be aware and like, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this pattern that I see in this relationship is in every single relationship. And we start to see things more clearly. And from there, now we can take action and start to be more in the driver's seat in our life, rather than reacting to everything, to start to respond from that greater foundation. And this is what the path of initiation is all about, is bringing in more light so that we can see more clearly. We can have that aha moment from within of understanding ourselves more, and then having that greater capacity within our energy structure, but also with that, we have that greater capacity to make those changes in our life. It's like having a stronger ability to harness the energy of our lives to make choices and make actions in a different way. Because often, if we've been living in that same pattern for our whole lives, it takes like an input of new energy to be able to shift gears, to be able to shift out of that track. If you're in the inertia of moving in the same pattern, we have to interrupt that cycle to start to build a new pattern. But it's a pattern based on who we really are, rather than all the things that we've taken on from outside of us. And so this client who came and did this Empower Thyself class and experienced this and was able to receive that initiation and work with these tools has came back and said, I noticed this. I notice more light. I notice that I'm not as affected by the other people, whether it's at work or family, whatever is going on around me, I can stay more in integrity. And through that, being able to make changes that by staying more in integrity within oneself, then the people around him responded as well. And so it's, as I change, the world around me changes also. And so this is just one example, but it's a common story of what exactly the different changes that happen is unique to each person, but it comes back to that core piece of having more light in our lives that we can harness, having greater awareness, and having tools that then when we recognize that we are operating in a way that isn't in alignment with who we are or what we want to create in our lives, we can do something about it. And this path of initiation within the Mystery School has specialized tools to support this that have been used for thousands of years. And it's something that the Empower Thyself class is the place to start on that journey, but it's a path that has so much depth of tools and understanding who we are as spiritual beings here in the physical that can continue to unfold as much as you desire to explore that. So if this is something that you feel resonates, that you have that desire for something more in your life, to have more light to bring into your life, to move more towards that greatest expression of who you are, to be able to make a greater impact in the world, I'd love to hear from you and to be able to support you with this. You can use the link below to connect with and share. I'd love to hear what your journey has been and what you're looking to do and how this path and these tools could help you get there, because it really is something, there's always more for us to explore. We are infinite beings and there's so much potential within each of us. And this world, our lives are here for us to apply our desire and our passion to create something that is good and to discover more of that expression of who we are in the world, in our own lives, and then to have that positive impact around us. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear from you.